hear back from Kirsten, did we on the final score? Okay,
Nope.
well, we got to move on. So, Brent G., there was a three-way tie. Folks were off by 10 points, and through the names in a hopper, and Brent, your name came up. So, Brent, hopefully you're listening. You got 9 minutes to call us and claim your $50 to Meets by John and Wayne. Brent called it 28-16 is the final score for the Packers and Cheyenne game on Friday. Real quick before I get to Mr. Port here, and I see I already got callers waiting. According to Mama here, Alex, she said if you vote, your name gets thrown in the hopper. And she said, she did sit in on a jury trial. It was a child molestation case. She said they put the guy in prison for life.
Okay.
Hold on. Got to give Mama a rim shot on that. Hey, you got my new thing in there?
I do.
Here's another email. Jay here in Minnesota. When you're selected for jury duty, you're on the list for 3 months and could possibly be summoned multiple times during that time. Oh, okay. All right. Mr. Port, what's going on, buddy?
Nothing much.
How's the weekend, man?
It's a good weekend. Yeah. Snowy, though.
You guys, how much snow did you get up there?
A couple inches. A lot of freezing rain though. That which sucked.
We got a little of that. A lot of wind. You guys must have had the wind too.
Yeah, we had some of the wind, but everything was a hockey rink there for a while.
I saw a picture. It was somewhere out in western North Dakota. It was hilarious. It was a house, and because of all the wind, the whole front of the house, the whole yard was just covered in tumbleweeds. Ugh. It was nuts. I think Dean Wysocki popped that picture up. Okay, session's over quick. Are we getting that pipeline from and hang on, callers, I'll get you in a second. Are we getting that pipeline from west to east? That was in there, right?
Yep, that was
natural gas.
Yep,
which I was for that. I get that. I think that's a good investment. A lot of the other stuff, more money to the universities and all that. Come on, but the one that I want to hit here. So we are going to get, because I said all along, you got $700 million left. How about giving some of that back to the citizens? And I see we ended up getting, I know Burgum wanted a $500 income tax credit, and that was originally left out of any plans, but then there was a late bill introduced and passed, and the amount was dropped to $350 per filed return or $750 for joint married return. It's going to cost about $211 million. They're going to pull that. It's going to be paid with excess dollars from the general fund. That way there's no clawback on that money from the feds.
Right.
So I guess do we get a winner? Okay, congratulations. We got a winner. Fantastic. So I guess 350 is better than nothing, but come on, man. Sound like that was kind of an argument too.
Yeah, well, there was the debate in the legislature, and this is the way it is every time we talk about doing any sort of tax relief through the income tax code, is everybody starts saying, my constituents don't talk about the income tax, they talk about the property tax. That's the thing. But the perennial problem with the legislature trying to do things about the property tax is that the legislature doesn't levy the property tax. So I think it's this weird political dynamic where we're opposing tax relief through a tax code that the legislature does control, and in favor of trying to do tax relief through something that the legislature doesn't control. And to me, it's frustrating. Also, people didn't like the fact that this was temporary. We're going to do it through 2 cycles, and then that's it. I don't see what the big deal is about that. People are going to get the money. So I don't know. I think I'm glad they did it. I wish they'd gone with Governor Burgum's plan for the larger amount, but they did it. It's a good thing. It's happening overall, and but in the future, I don't know. I think we're always talking about property taxes year after year. I really think that we need to talk more about if you're upset about your property taxes, talk to your local officials.
Yeah, that's local. That's like you said. That's where it gets. That's where it gets levied out. So how does this work then? So we're getting a tax credit, $350, $700 if you file jointly. So you don't get like a $350 check, right? I mean, how's that work? They just look at how much you paid. I mean, I don't understand how that works.
They offset it from what you owe in income taxes, state income taxes. So you could get a refund. Like basically, it's going to offset it, and you could roll it over for 2 years, which a lot of people may need to because North Dakota's income tax is already very, very low. But my understanding is it's not a credit. So if you don't pay the state income tax, if you don't have an obligation there, you may not get this.
Emailer says, look, guys, you're kind of wrong on this. When it comes to property taxes, the legislature requires certain guidelines on valuation, so they do have control.
Yeah, but okay, so they control the valuations. But the problem is property valuations are going to be what they're going to be. And the people who order the valuations are, again, the locals. And by the way, the rate at which those valuations are taxed, the mill levy, also comes from your local government, the park board, everything else. And it's this constant hot potato between the local governments and the legislature about who's responsible for property taxes. I'm telling you, it's the locals. Stop letting them pass the buck.
You surprised the session went this fast?
I thought that they were going to end up into the weekend, but they actually finished relatively early on Friday. So it went faster. They killed a lot of the bills, a lot of the policy bills that came up. They killed a lot of those in delayed bills committee. They didn't have as much success. I thought we were going to see more of those come up and try to get around delayed bills and get introduced on the floor. That didn't really happen. So overall, kudos to the legislative leaders. They got in, they got their business done, and they got out.
Let's see. Who's first here? Jason. Jason, you're up. Jay Thomas Show. Hello?
Yeah, just taking it off speakerphone there. You got that Rob Port on there. This is Jason Heitkamp, Senator from the 26th District.
What's up?
I don't know why he continues to spread disinformation about me without checking his sources. I mean, he does not look like a very smart person, if you ask me. I actually had a lot of respect for Rob when I first met him out in Minot at the convention that time. But, Jay, it's going downhill.
What's going on, Rob?
What's going on? I had an accident at an intersection in Bismarck, and my vehicle was totaled out. I didn't have a ride to get around in Bismarck. I met a fella at the Capitol who came out there to see how the process works. I asked him if he wanted to go for dinner. He said, sure. So he took his vehicle over to A&B Pizza. I hope you don't mind if I put out advertisements for good places to eat.
Well, have you to eat?
But I had no idea that he had something like that on his end gate when we first took off.
Okay. All right. I'm sure. Where the hell's this guy? Where are you going with this? This is the Rob, the truck story, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah. And so we had already eaten together. And what was I supposed to do? Tell him I'm not going to ride back to the Capitol with him because suddenly there's a bumper sticker on his tailgate that I didn't know about. He's a citizen of North Dakota. He's a taxpayer, and quite frankly, I knew that was on the back of the end gate, but it didn't make me afraid to go forward. And I was being nice to the guy because he gave me a ride. He actually took me out so we could eat together and talk about the legislative process. He might even become a legislator one day. And so I said to him, Spot 31's open, and there was a lot of people there parking at the Capitol. And so I said to him, you gave me a ride, you can park in my spot. I don't have a problem with that. The next day, when I got to work, he actually called me up and said, you got a ride in the morning? And I said, well, I can get a ride with Magram from Hazelton, or I might as well just get a ride from you. So, yeah, he gave me a ride the second day to the Bismarck Capitol. And I told him once again he could park in my spot. Why not? It's going to be parked somewhere on the Capitol grounds, and the taxpayers own that Capitol and the parking spot.
I just if I can break in, I don't know if we're going to let the senator just filibuster.
I'm almost done.
Hold on.
But I went in there, and there were some legislators that showed me a picture of this pickup, and I said to them, if it's a problem, I'll go talk to the Highway Patrol. And that's what I did. I talked to the Highway Patrol, and I said, if there's a problem with a taxpayer parking in the parking spot here, I'll have the pickup moved. And they said, no, it shouldn't be a problem.
All right,
because even they're smart enough to know who pays the bills around there.
Let Rob jump in on this.
Yeah, not a single thing I wrote was factually inaccurate. I wrote that.
You were wrong. I was not driving the pickup around. You said I was driving the pickup around.
Okay, multiple.
Not driving the pickup around.
Okay,
that is a lie.
Am I allowed?
And another thing is, you never called me to check any of your facts.
I called you. I absolutely called you. Jay, am I allowed to talk here?
For getting raped.
Jay,
hold on.
Am I allowed to talk?
Hang on. Let Rob have his say, Jason. Hold on. Go ahead, Rob.
I did call Senator Heitkamp. Now Jason has actually called my editors and has told them in the past that he automatically declines my calls when I call. So I tried to call him. He didn't answer. I would have happily printed his side of the story. Now, what I wrote was that truck was parked in his parking spot. I also reported the fact that multiple Capitol sources said they saw Senator Heitkamp driving the truck. If he says he wasn't driving the truck, then that's fine. But he was certainly in the truck, and it was certainly parked in his spot. And I wrote in the column that he wasn't clear whether or not he owned the truck, but it was there. And a lot of people at the Capitol thought it was hugely inappropriate for that truck with that message to be parked in that spot, including, by the way, Senator Heitkamp's own majority leader, Senator Rich Wardner, who acknowledged that was inappropriate. So I'm glad that Senator Heitkamp is finally speaking out about this and being transparent. Next time, Senator, maybe pick up the phone when I call.
You know, I told your publisher, and I told you before, I blocked you on my phone. I'm not going to answer your phone. I don't even
so
get your phone calls
how can
when
you accuse
call.
me of
I
not
guess
calling
you?
you?
Don't understand what blocked means.
You've
lied about me multiple times.
Well, hold on.
And I'm not going to take
Jay,
your crap
hold on.
anymore.
Jay, hold on. Hold on. So I just want to be. It's very important to know what the senator just said. He accused me of not calling him for comment, and now has just said that he's blocked my number. How do I reach the senator for comment when he won't take my phone calls?
Well, no, that's no. Senator Heitkamp, he makes a point here. How can he get your side if he can't reach you?
Well, maybe he could use a different phone.
Well, what do you mean use a different phone?
Maybe he could text me. Maybe he could email me. There's many ways to talk to somebody, especially during session. I was there with my computer on the whole time. I did not get one email from anybody. Nothing. And I answered emails the whole time. In fact, right now I'm answering emails from a person, and, I could read you what the guy said. But, it says very sad. I get all these emails now saying, why don't you just admit you own the pickup? What are you talking about? My vehicle was wrecked in a car crash.
And I would note
just like another legislator's vehicle was wrecked out at special session.
I would note that at no point
I waited for an hour to get a taxi cab one time. Why can't I take a ride from somebody?
Go ahead,
Why
Rob.
can't I let a taxpayer park in the parking spot?
I would note.
What's wrong with that?
I would note that at no point did I say that was Senator Heitkamp's truck. In fact, that was in the original column. And everything else I reported was accurate. So I don't know what his problem is.
No,
if he doesn't,
I was driving it around.
Okay,
That's
other
not
people saw. Okay,
and
I'm happy.
How come the radio stations that picked up your article said that it was my vehicle?
I don't know. I don't know. I can tell you if you read my column.
Why didn't they call me? Don't their phones work?
That's other people, Senator. But my story said it wasn't clear whether you owned it or not. I don't know if you owned it.
I'm trying to find a damn
No
story
idea.
here.
See, that's funny because if you read the article, it doesn't say anything like that. Maybe you could have put that in your article. I don't know if he owns it.
I did put it in the article.
But you said I was
Senator.
driving it around the Capitol.
That's multiple people said you were. You
And
refused
you
to
should
take my
print a
call.
retraction for that.
No.
Who are these multiple people? Who are they?
I'm not gonna.
Why
I'm
don't
not.
you tell us who they are?
They're
Why don't you
they're
send me an
afraid of
email?
speaking out, Senator, because people like you harass them. They're tired of it.
Harass them. Like when?
Constantly.
Like when?
Jay,
Who's the last person I've harassed?
Senator, the senator's obviously
Who is the
not
last
doing
person I've
himself
harassed?
any favors and has called in and
Okay.
I'm not going to have a
Rob,
I'm not
who's
going to
the
have a
last person I've harassed.
Senator, I'm not going to tell you that. All right, you are responsible for your behavior in the
can't.
Capitol.
Why can't you tell me the last person I harassed? See, that's another lie. You are a liar, Rob.
All right, boys.
And you need to go away.
I'm not.
Well, Rob's not
Nope.
going away. I'll tell you that right now. Rob ain't
Yeah,
going
sure,
away.
Rob ain't going to go away because he sells things. That's very sad. Very sad, Rob. You have a sad life.
I'm sorry that this politician is unhappy
You're not
about
sorry.
about
You're not sorry
line.
about nothing.
Jay, am I going to be allowed to talk, or is
Yeah,
Jason just going to shout over me the whole
No,
time?
go ahead, Rob. Go ahead.
Okay, so
Jason, let him talk.
Okay, so the problem here is that we have a politician who had some light light put on his behavior, and he doesn't like it. And like most politicians, he's going to lash out and attack everybody else because how dare they report something that was completely accurate. He rode around in the truck with an obscene message on the back. It was allowed to be parked in his designated parking spot at the Capitol. Now, he certainly has some explanations for why that happened and everything else, and he certainly could have provided those explanations if he bothered to pick up the phone when somebody called them. But he didn't, and now he just wants to call in and just shout at the people who reported it. And if people don't think it's a big deal, they don't care about the truck, that's fine. But my job is to talk about the things that are going on.
Well,
this is a thing that happened. Everybody at the Capitol was buzzing about it. I reported it. It was accurate. I'm sorry the senator doesn't like it.
You need to retract that I was driving it around, Rob, because that's a lie.
I am actually happy to change that headline. If you say you weren't driving it around, I am happy to put that in there. I don't think it changes the thrust of the article at all.
Yeah. Well, maybe when you find some of those guys that made that statue that had Donald Trump on it with small genitals, maybe you can.
I have no idea. I have no idea why you think one behavior.
That's a disgusting thing, and you never cared about that, Rob.
All right, I got to cut you off because I got a guest at 3:05. Well, here's how we start a Monday.
Yeah, usually we're Wednesday before it goes off the rails.
You make an argument. If he doesn't have, if he's blocking your number, how can you get a response? Did you try emailing him, Rob?
I didn't try emailing him. No, I called him, but I also was aware of the fact that he made it clear he wasn't going to take my phone calls. I made a phone call. He didn't answer. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do.
So are the folks at the Capitol pretty pissed about this?
There are people who are upset. Yeah, there are people who think it reflects poorly on them. Listen, they go there to do the hard work of the people. It's a hothouse environment. They have very specific rules about decorum. That sort of stuff doesn't help. They don't want a lawmaker riding around with a bumper sticker like that. It's inappropriate. Now,
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if people are this upset about it, then they'll show it at the ballot.
I guess the only way a lot of them are even going to know about it though is if somebody like me writes about it. Now, if you don't care about it, fine, that's great. Yeah. Or maybe a lot of people do care about it and they will vote, but they're going to know about it now because I wrote about it.
Rob, what do you got coming up? Anything you need to promote there, buddy?
Coming up on Wednesday, the podcast are going to have a talk about the coal industry in North Dakota is promoting electric cars, which I think is really interesting. So we're going to have Jason Borer on from the Lignite Energy Council to talk about that.
Well, that would make sense. I mean, because you have to have that coal to produce that electricity.
Hey, they're in the business of selling electricity.
That's right. Imagine that.
We gotta get you one of those ghost phones, Rob, so you can just call anybody.
Just call anybody. I don't beat around the bush. I mean, if people want to talk with me, I'm not going to use subterfuge or anything like that. I come at them straight ahead. I don't have any secret moves or anything like that.
All the latest articles, sayanythingblog.com, inform.com, and all forum publications. And we'll have Rob out on Monday. We'll see who's got pissed off by Monday. Next Monday. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Jay.
All right. When we come back, we're going to head to Moorhead. Moorhead's got a new little contraption on their stoplights to help catch red light runners.
The House of Blue Lights.
Ooh, yeah. We're going to talk to Captain Swenson next, Jay Thomas Show.
Oof.
Oh, boy.